A lot of people get mad when I compare China to the US. Some call me a propagandist, some racial slur. But let me explain something. I want to talk about this today.
Why do you care? This comment shows up many times under my posts where I criticize Trump or his actions. Why do I care? Here's my answer.
Let's say China. 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 You take China. 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 I have to have my China. 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 China.
China.
It is possible for Chinese and Chinese Americans to think that they are the only ones who receive such comments. We are all called the same, especially when you present China in the light that it is. For what it is, you are always called that. And Americans also aren't an exception of this. And the problem isn't just the comparison, but the problem is Americans thinking that whenever we compare China to America, America appears to be a bad country. Yeah. And my question is this: why is that if you think that compared to China, you are not a good country, but you think that you cannot learn from China? That might take. Yeah, there's a lot to unpack in this video. Kindly like the video for recommendations, subscribe if you're new here. And one thing that is surprising, Chinese who had left the country to look for greener pastures in the United States, they're now realizing that, oh my, we were cheated. Like, we are not living what we expected.
I grew up in Wuhan in the 80s. Like many Chinese kids born in the 80s, I admire America, Hollywood, NBA, Michael Jackson. My favorite movie was American Pie. I thought studying abroad would be just like that. Light, fun, and free. Party all the time. Because at that time when I was in China, when I was in high school, I was under a lot of pressure, academic pressure. Like my hair is all like white. So I thought I'd go to the West, go to America, or go to Canada, can be an escape. After living in North America almost 20 years, I saw a lot. The US talk about freedom and democracy all the time, but the reality is messy. Police violence, mass shooting, student debt, no healthcare, homelessness everywhere, constant political chaos. And the problem is when real problem happens, Americans don't really look inward. They blame China, blame immigrants, blame anyone but themselves. Society is so divided by race, by culture, by ideology. Instead of solving anything, people just fighting each other, online, offline, anywhere. They just never look up. That's not strength. That's in denial. A lot of people ask why so many Chinese guys now making US-China comparison videos. It's simple. We speak both languages. We live in both systems. We know how they actually works, not just how they showed on TV. That's why we want to speak out, because there's so many nuances out there that we can talk about. So for me, I'm educated, but I'm not some polite, well-mannered Chinese guy you see on the street. I am the opposite. Your insult to me, or the racial slur, false accusation, conspiracy theories, all that kind of stuff, they don't work on me. They entertain me. I find those things funny. Anyway, time to grow up in America. You're not going to fix anything by blaming others. And also here I want to say that thank you everyone who followed me on Substack, and thanks for all the subscriptions. I really appreciate it. If you guys can join the Substack, that'd be great. Link in bio. Appreciate it. Bye.
Why is it that 83% of people in China feel they live in a democracy, with 91% of them saying they think it's important, while only 49% of Americans feel they live in a democracy, with only 76% of them thinking it's important? China is a one-party state, but that doesn't mean they don't have democracy. Multi-party elections that mass manipulate, divide, and conquer the public, then ignore them after ballots are cast for the next 4 years, as policies they may or may not have even mentioned get rolled out. Because it's not about measuring policy in Western democracy, just winning the show. So politicians can truly say whatever they want when they're campaigning. Yeah, this is not the only way to do democracy, and it's hardly even a good one. China has something the West could learn from. China has meritocracy and participatory democracy at the local grassroots level. In actual policy making, I should add. It focuses more on grassroots participation through local consultation, basically to align policies more with people's needs and consult with experts in relevant fields. Also hold frequent elections at the local level. Climbing the political ladder is not left to the whim of a popularity contest. It's treated as seriously as becoming a doctor or a lawyer. No random reality TV star and comedian can come in and call themselves a politician. They have to prove they can perform governmental work, starting at entry levels and gradually moving their way up as they continuously prove their measurable results again and again. Why wouldn't we learn from that? Is the West the only teacher ever to everybody? Neither American nor European democracy is based on merit or measurability, but money and marketing. This leaves the masses extremely subject to manipulation. Even ancient Greeks understood the flaws with Western democracy. Western democracy got Trump elected, Western democracy got Hitler elected. At the end of the day, Western electoral politics right now is designed to be a form of theater, because they need to mask their inferiority and subservience to the true ruling class, which are the capitalists, not states, under capitalism. They are intentionally designed to keep you from knowing the true names of the people who govern over you, the multinationals, the elites, the corporations. Like a court jester distracting you. The Chinese model also focuses on long-term planning rather than short electoral cycles, which is why they are extremely effective at getting shit done. Is it perfect? No, but I don't need to disclaim that every time I make a video talking about other systems that we can learn to emulate. If this is your first time hearing about other kinds of democracy, welcome.
You want to see the difference between real government and fake one? Let's talk about the floods in China and the floods in Texas. So recently in Guizhou, China, record-breaking rain flooded the region. But in 48 hours, 91,000 people evacuated, thousands of troops, firefighters, engineers, medics, militia, all on site. Boats, drones, mobile kitchens, shelters mobilized instantly. Only 6 people died. Because when disaster hits in China, the state moves as one. No red tapes, no excuse, just result. Now let's look at Texas. Same kind of rainfall, 100+ people died. No flood siren, no coordination, no help, at least in the beginning. The state deployed just 2,200 personnel. FEMA showed up late with forms and loans. That was it. I watched the interview. The Texas governor said, "We are overwhelmed." And the White House, "It's God's will." Are you kidding me? You literally have the budget to send ICE agents to raid neighborhoods, arrest hardworking people without paper. But you cannot send boats rescue your own citizens from drowning. And then, guess who showed up? Mexicans. The Mexican rescue team. The Mexico came to help Texas. While ICE agents still out arresting Mexicans. And one thing I don't understand, where are the hell with all these so-called patriots? The Proud Boys, the Patriot Frown, those Texas nationalists who scream about independence and honor? Why those people don't show up? And those MAGA boats, those MAGA boat parade guys, you guys have boats. Where are you guys? You got the boat when it's time to show off, but you're just sitting at home watching TV? Maybe just too fat? You guys probably don't even do any donations. All big talk. These guys are not patriots. They are cosplayers with the internet. So here's the thing. This flood was not just a natural disaster. It was a mirror. China sent troops. Mexico sent help. America sent excuses and blame to something else. And the loudest patriots, they were just too busy hiding behind the flag instead of help real people. Listen, I have articles on Substack with more context of this video, with data and everything. So if you guys interested to read more with more context, please come to Substack. The link is in bio. Thanks, guys.
For example, MAGA, Make America Great Again. They have a point. America is not doing so great right now.
I think United States have a lot to learn from other countries. If we still want to call ourselves the greatest country on earth, from China we can learn how to build and upgrade our infrastructure. Because if China can turn such a backward order merely 40, 50 years ago to now a modernized, futuristic-looking country, if China can do it, we can do it. And in the social program front, we can learn from those Northern European countries. It's not a secret. Those countries are always ranked the highest in happiest country ranking. I'm talking about Sweden, Norway, Finland, and some European countries too. You can find that out online. On the economy front, I have to say that's our bright spot because United States is still the leader in the capitalist market economy. Other countries are looking for us for innovation and wealth building. The second point I want to say is that I don't think it's a zero-sum game. But China's rising doesn't mean the U.S. has to decline. In the short run, it sure feels that way. When factories are closing in this country, workers are hurting, all kinds of problems occur here. But I think in the long run, every country can improve, grow, and prosper together. I just hope our politicians are focusing on solving specific problems one at a time and not tangled into this grabbing powers to enrich themselves. The third thing I want to say is this large-scale, visible extreme poverty and homelessness in this country is kind of new phenomena based on 30-some years that I live here. I think probably just in the last 10 or 20 years. So cities are learning how to deal with it. See, in Seattle, what I see is that they have come out with a program called Tiny Home Village. They're springing up everywhere in Seattle. I saw one probably 10 or 11 blocks from where I live because I walk into library every day. I pass by the tiny homes community. I took some pictures. I'll put it at the end of this video. And they're kind of like 8 by 11 feet. And some are like bigger, maybe double the size. They have an AC. They have a like community bathroom, community kitchen, and laundry. It's kind of cool. It's a good arrangement for temporary housing. I think it's better than shelter. At least now you have an address and everything, so good for looking for a job. And then within a few months, I heard people say they were able to find permanent housing. I think that's one of the reasons why New York City mayor candidate Zoran Mamdani was being successful, because he focused on that issue of affordability of housing. That is the key to solve homeless problems. So that's why I'm supporting him. The last point I want to say is that the bright spot is that United States stock market is doing great. China might be rising the last 4 decades, but their stock market is kind of flatline. Last few years go negative sometimes, so it's going nowhere. And we have been doing great. So I just hope with Donald Trump's second term, the 4 years, he's not going to ruin it for all. Because all these anti-immigrant destruction of federal programs, or he called it deep state, it's really is ruining our reputation. What I call it our dividend of a land of a free, our dividend of a democracy, our dividend of a consistent, successful market economy. But I have a faith. Let's see.
This happens when the government distributes the wealth generated by its economic growth to all its people rather than just selected few. Look at these drastic changes that have occurred in these Chinese cities. invest in common prosperity, baby.
I love China. I love US. These two doesn't contradict with each other. Sometimes something about China is good. Sometimes US is better. Right now, at this moment, US. Obviously US, because it's only because I'm in US I have this time to speak to you face to face as if we are together sharing this moment, or because my Tesla is being charged I have 30 minutes free time. If I'm in China, 5 minutes charging, I wouldn't be able to get on TikTok and talk to you. We wouldn't be able to have this special moment. It's only because I'm in US that we have this special time. So, you see, sometimes US better, sometimes China is better. And I love both.
We've seen different people who compare China to the United States, but I'm also standing from an observer perspective because my aim is to bridge the gap, is to be able to bring these two countries together. And I won't stop telling them how much they need each other to function. The world needs these two countries because one seems to hold the power and the other seems to own the, what should I say, the purchasing power, like the supplying power. One country feeds us, the other one is on top. So, and these two countries are in competition, but they always want to seem that they are not looking after each other. They're not watching what the other country is doing. And that's what makes it interesting because you're being watched and the person is behaving as if they're not watching you. Like, they're always confusing us. But we are here to learn. We're here to learn from success, from mistakes, from everything. And everything in this life is a learning tool. It's a learning, like we learn even subconsciously. You might not see that you are learning from this, but also you are learning. And what you're learning is what I want to hear because we are here. As I am sharing from an observer perspective, point of view, and I am not here because I align with a certain country. When I see something wrong about China, I'll call it out. When I see something wrong about the United States, I'll call it out. But I just want to show them that they need each other. These two countries need to work together. From what you're observing here, from my observation, I feel like they really need to work with each other. But since they're in competition, it will take time before they realize this.